Live from the Dunkin Latte Lounge.
All right, welcome to the Dunkin Latte Lounge. My name is Garrett from Elvis Duran and the Z100 Morning Show. I'm glad to have someone local in the Dunkin Latte Lounge with me today. We welcome Jesse Ruben. How are you?
I am doing okay these days. How are you?
Yeah, I think it's all the same too. We try to find the silver lining in each and every day to get us to the next one. And from music to staying off of social media, whatever the case may be. But we appreciate some time. So, where in the world are you right now? Are you East Coast like us? Are you, because we're finding a lot of people as we talk to them are some West Coast. So, where are you right now, Jesse?
No, I'm holding down the fort here in Brooklyn. We're in Williamsburg. We really haven't even left this area like just a couple times since like March. We've been pretty careful about where we're going. So yeah, we're holding down the fort here in Brooklyn. A lot of people have left. If you're wondering why I'm sitting in front of a totally blank wall like I'm in a jail cell, it's because we're redoing our apartment because we have all of this time and we can finally do it. So yeah, we're home, we're hanging out. I'm not going anywhere.
So outside of making music, I guess your other quarantine project is just DIY construction around the house.
It's been mostly my wife who's been wanting to do those things and then me complaining about them and so slightly ruining them. But yes, like together we are definitely like making improvements.
So I don't know about you and how your relationship works, but with my wife and I, it's she goes, "Hey, do you want to help?" And I want to be helpful. I was like, "Sure." And then like
Sure.
10 minutes in, it goes, "Nah, you know what? I'm good. I got this. Don't worry. Just go do
I
something."
find that I ruin everything, so it's better if she takes the lead on a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
Have the words ever come out of her mouth? Well, just go play the piano. Go write a song or something.
Many times. Many times.
All right. Well, let's talk about music. Let's talk about what you've been up to over the last couple months and going forward too. So, what do you feel like? Because you hear it a lot, like from Brooklyn. There's this creative mindset of people from artists to painters to singers, songwriters that come out of Brooklyn. What do you think it is about that vibe of Brooklyn, or maybe it's just a coincidence that a lot of people come out of Brooklyn that have this creative, passionate mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great question. I think a lot of like awesome people just end up living here because it's a great place to live. But I do also think like the vibe here is really strong. There's a lot of community. Like we know our neighborhood really well. We know some of our neighbors. Like it's a very supportive group. It's been unfortunate that over the last like 6 or 7 months, so many people have left, especially creative people, mostly for financial reasons. But I just think New York City in general, and then Brooklyn specifically, there's just something about this place that attracts really awesome creative people.
Now, for you, like over, like you were just saying, the last 8 months, and for many of people, things have changed. Like, as an artist, how do you find to sit down and find that inspiration / try to motivate people where it's so easy just to go the route of, well, I feel sad, and a lot of people are feeling down too. Let me just, write something sad. When is it harder to find that positivity in songwriting?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it is. I think it's interesting because I've been asked this question a couple times, and the answer is like, because some people are like, well, how do you keep going and how do you keep creating? And the answer is sometimes I don't. Like there have been whole periods of time where it's just like, I'm not going to write anything right now. I'm going to listen and I'm going to read and I'm going to take stock of what's happening in the world. But I don't necessarily feel like I'm not somebody who's like, I have to write a song every week or I'm a total failure. That kind of pressure is just like too much, I think. So especially right now with everything happening, it's important that creative people take care of themselves because there's a lot that can go wrong when you're a creative person and there's no touring for a musician, right? There's no touring, there's no traveling. I personally, like, I thrive off of in-person interacting with an audience and being on stage and hanging out in the green room and meeting people after shows. Like, I really feel alive in those moments, and that stuff is gone for the foreseeable future. So a lot of it is like self-care, figuring out what you need. Sometimes I'm managing it well. Sometimes I'm not.
Right. As we all are. We all
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
I mean, you're not and that's the thing. Everyone thinks that they are the only one, but they're not.
Yeah.
So it's interesting talking about, you get that passion of being on stage and meeting fans too. Like, could you even envision a meet and greet anywhere in the, like, I know it's hard to even think about, but do you even think those will ever exist ever again, or maybe just virtually?
Yeah, I mean, ever? I hope so. It's been interesting to see like other parts of the country have started to do shows. My friends in Nashville have been playing more. I mean, I just got an email from a venue outside of Philly that said the state said they could open at like 25% capacity, and when do I want to come in and play? And I'm just not in a position where I feel comfortable like asking people to travel and all be in one place, and
Right.
God forbid something happens. So the virtual stuff is definitely like a Band-Aid, and it's been cool. I mean, we can at least do stuff like this. I did like 30 live streams at 30 Fridays in a row where I did live streams, and that was really fun and a way to like stay in touch with people, but it's just not the same. I mean, even just like finishing a song and like no applause, just awkward silence staring into a cell phone is so weird.
And you just assume, I hope you're clapping.
I've said that phrase, I hope you're clapping, 10,000 times since March, you know?
So, I mean, it must be, even thinking about it too, like if you were to take, the gig with down in Philly at 25%, I mean, as much as you want to get back on stage, 25% is not a full capacity, venue, which is a hell of a lot different. And the vibe might be, okay, but it's not what you're accustomed to.
Totally. So I think, yeah, it would be weird. So you'd have people sitting super far apart, and the room would be empty and like kind of echoey. I don't know. I mean, it's just like,
we're not there yet. I don't think we're there yet. I think everybody's still trying to figure it out. But now let's move on to some music too. Let's talk about some songs that you're going to be doing for us today. Let's jump into the first song we're going to hear from you, and you're going to do for us, "Trying My Best." Give us a little backstory on it.
Yeah, so that song is coming out on my album, which is going to be coming out in March. And it's a song that I really kind of felt was appropriate for what we're all going through right now. Just as like a quick backstory, I wrote that song as a response to, I actually had to take like 3 years off of music because I got very, very sick. I have something called Lyme disease, which is why I am considered high risk. What up? And
I'm a diabetic too, so I'm just as high risk. So
there you go.
Glad to meet you.
Yeah. And so I wrote that song because I found that the more I talked about my experience, the more I realized like how many people are dealing with stuff silently and not talking about it and holding on to it and sort of carrying it around. And so I wrote "Trying My Best" because I wanted to write a song that really gave people permission to like talk about what's happening in their lives, to put everyone on the same page, and just to sort of say, whatever you have going on, no matter how bad you think it's going to be, you can get to the other side of it. Because the fact that I'm even here with you having this conversation is a total miracle. So I want to express that sentiment through that song.
All right, well, Jesse, let's jump into it right now. This is Jesse Ruben, "Trying My Best" in the Dunkin Latte Lounge.
The song asks you to raise your hand if you hear something you relate to. You don't have to. You could just raise your hand emotionally. Or you could just like type in one of those little hand-raisy emojis or something. I don't know. But I hope it helps. It's called "Trying My Best." Raise your hand if you ever get lonely. Raise your hand if you ever get sad. Hold it high if you're ever unhappy. I think we all feel that. And they told me to be nicer to myself. It's not as easy as it sounds, but I'm trying my best. Raise your hand if you're scared of the future. Raise your hand if your money feels tight. Hold it high if you hate your body. Well, it's all part of being alive. And if I ever find you crying all
But in between them I get jealous. It wears me out, I don't know how to make it stop. But if I ever find you crying, I'll remind you of this. I am not joking, you are not broken, you don't need to be fixed, no. No matter what it is, it'll get better. It has to get better, I promise. I promise. Raise your hand if there's light in the distance. Raise your hand if you'll never give up the fight. Hold it high if you know what you're made of, and you know who you are inside. 'Cause they told me to be nicer to myself. It's not as easy as it sounds, but I'm trying my best. Yes, I'm trying my best.
Welcome back to the Dunkin Latte Lounge. That is Jesse Ruben, of course, trying my best. And, right before we got into the last song, you were talking about your battle with Lyme disease. How are you feeling? And I want to get into the fact, even thinking about not even being able to do something you're very passionate about, even that going through your head. So let's start with, how are you feeling today?
Yeah, I feel great right now. I've been in remission for like 5 years, so I'm very, very fortunate. I do a lot of work in the Lyme community. I'm part of an organization that hosts meetups for people who are sick all over the world. They can like connect with each other, and that's actually been thriving in quarantine, which is great. And I'm also the go-to where if a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend is really sick and they need to figure out answers, I'm the guy they call, which is great because if it hadn't been for some random person I have never met telling me that they thought they knew what was wrong with me, I don't know if I'd ever have gotten better. So that's been something that's been a big positive. I feel after my experience, I really feel a ton of responsibility to help as many people as I can, because it's just such a crazy situation when you don't feel well day after day after day after day. And I know the toll that can take on people.
And I mean, going back 5 years ago and even coming across the idea of not even being able to play music again, was it a battle that you were like, I need to push through? Or was it like a little bit of, all right, well, if this is how it's going to be, what made you get over that hump of not being able to even think about playing music ever again?
Yeah, it just got to the point where when I was on stage in the before times when you could play shows, I would be on stage.
Remember those?
Yeah, I would be on stage feeling so not well that I wish that I wasn't on stage. Okay. And at that point, I knew okay, I have to take a break. When the thing that brings me the most joy in the world, I don't even want to be here. So I really just put a hard pause on it. And it was all focused on getting better, going to the doctor, doing research. And it was definitely really scary and pretty intense. And it took a lot of really amazing people to help me get through that, which is a lot of why I wanted to write Trying My Best,
And I can imagine your first time back on stage, once you got turned that curve and started to take care of yourself. That feeling of being back on stage will be the same feeling we all have when we get to go to a show or perform at a show for the very first time. I can
100%, and I can say that it is a very good feeling. So I'm very much looking forward to it.
All right, let's jump into your next song, Nothing's Going to Bring Me Down. Tell me about it. It sounds like an uplifting song, though, it's speaking about, turning that corner and being uplifted.
Yeah, so this is a perfect segue. You really crushed it. This was the first song that I wrote after I got better, and I really wanted to just have an anthem for myself that would make me feel better. Even when I play it, sometimes I put it in the set if I'm in a bad mood because I know that it's going to make me feel better. And so to me, it's just the perfect song for what's happening right now too. So it's Well done.
Is it the song too? Like your wife's having like a down day, you just you break it out.
My music doesn't help her when she's bummed out. She's heard it too much. She's too close to it.
All right, let's get into it right now. Jesse Ruben, Nothing's Going to Bring Me Down in the Dunkin' Latte Lounge.
Yeah, this is a song I like to play to give myself a little pick me up. This is called Nothing's Gonna Bring Me Down. I'm standing, feels like the odds are stacked against me. Where I've landed is not the place that I had planned. But I know well, sometimes you're gonna come up empty. But that don't mean that you haven't got a chance. Nothing I can't handle. There ain't nothing I can't face. You can scream and holler, take every dollar, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can get me fired, call me a liar, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can do your worst, hit me where it hurts, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can scream and holler, take every dollar, nothing's gonna bring me down. No, nothing's gonna bring me down. Before my heart was even ready. First sign of danger, and I was gone without a note. But I know well, sometimes a love can break the levee. But now I've learned that it can also help us grow. There ain't nothing I can't handle. There ain't nothing I can't face. You can scream and holler, take every dollar, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can get me fired, call me a liar, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can do your worst, hit me where it hurts, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can scream and holler, take every dollar, nothing's gonna bring me down. No, nothing's gonna bring me down. And I won't quit, I'll keep my chin up every minute, and I'm bound to figure out just what it takes. And I'll admit that I've been living at my limit, and it hurt, but I have learned from my mistakes. Yes, it hurt, but I have learned from my mistakes. There ain't nothing I can't handle. There ain't nothing I can't face. You can scream and holler, take every dollar, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can get me fired, call me a liar, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can do your worst, hit me where it hurts, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can scream and holler, take every dollar, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can scream and holler, take every dollar, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can get me fired, call me a liar, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can do your worst, hit me where it hurts, nothing's gonna bring me down. You can scream and holler, take every dollar, nothing's gonna bring me down. No, nothing's gonna bring me down.
All right, welcome back to the Dunkin' Latte Lounge. Hanging with Jesse Ruben right now in Brooklyn. I'm in Jersey. Just think about it. Did you grow up in New York?
I grew up in Philly.
Philly. All right, so East Coast still. So yep. You grew up with Dunkin' in and around your life as well. One of those hypothetical questions where you got, if you could sit down with anybody, but if you could sit down and have, a Dunkin', latte with anybody, I'll be in the background, maybe at the cash register, kind of like eavesdropping in. Like, who would that be? Like, who would you sit down? Who would you pick their brain or just, shoot the breeze with?
Well, first of all, so I grew up in Philly, but then I went to college in Boston. So Dunkin' was very much a part of my daily life.
The home of Dunkin' right there, Boston.
Oh yeah. So my first thought when you were asking this question was Bob Dylan, but then I kind of feel like he wouldn't be that good of a hang because he's like kind of mumbly and grumpy. So I'd probably say Paul Simon, just because he's my favorite songwriter, and I just want to nerd out with him on lyric things and the way that he wrote his songs and his approach to life. And I also want to know, like, behind the scenes what was happening with Garfunkel and if they hate each other. And I feel like he would be a good hang. I don't know. He seemed awesome.
Well, that's the thing. People like it's funny when talking to people and they kind of like, maybe it's like, no, this is yours. Like I can only
I get to make this up. I don't know.
I can only agree with you. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I think you're wrong, but no, it'd be weird. All right. So the other interesting thing I feel you've had a lot of your music just spread out the entertainment world. When you write music, after you're done with a song, producing it, does it even come to mind like, oh, I could see this in a montage on, a TV show or in a commercial? Like, does it even think about that? Or is that someone coming to you and going, hey, Jesse, we want to borrow your song?
Yeah, I think that for me personally, I try not to think about any of that stuff during the creative process. Because
of course, more after the fact though.
Yeah, if you're going into a song going like, I'm going to write a song that's good for a TV show montage, I'm probably not going to like that song, So for me, it's like, I want to make the music as authentic as possible. I want it to be as beautiful and moving as possible. And then after the fact, you work pretty hard to try and get the songs out there and have people hear them. And if it works out that way, great. I have a lot of songs that I thought were great on TV that never ended up on a TV show. And then I've had songs that I never thought would be on a TV show that somebody picked. So it's totally just depends on somebody's taste and luck and timing. And yeah, it's crazy. But you always want people to hear your music. I mean, having a song on The Bachelor in Germany, like that was a hilarious day in my life. It was like super fun and exciting. So
I wonder what Can I Borrow You for a Second sounds like in German.
Yeah, I don't know, but it comes up a lot, I'm sure.
All right, so let's before we jump into your last song that you're gonna go over, do for us. Let's go over socials. Where can we follow along when we do get shows, whether they be virtual or live eventually? Where can we follow along with you?
Yeah, so on Twitter and Instagram, I'm at Jesse Ruben, JESSERUBEN. A lot of people get that wrong. And then on YouTube and Facebook, I'm at Jesse Ruben Music. We've got a bunch of cool stuff coming up. We've got an album coming out in March. We're going to have another single probably early next year. Some cool merch stuff, some private concert contest opportunities, new merch, sweatshirts, t-shirts. We got all kinds of cool stuff happening.
We got it all. We got it all covered. I'm working for you. You didn't even know that, but I'm working for you now. All right. So tell us a little bit about Future, and then let's jump into it.
Yeah. So Future is a single I put out like 6 weeks ago, and it was the song that I wrote for my wife when we decided to get married. And what was fun about that song was I was really worried that it would suck, and I didn't want it to suck. And so I started playing it at all these shows before our wedding that my wife wasn't attending. And I would just, I would make everyone in the audience put their phones away and swear them to secrecy and beg them not to post about it. And nobody did. And they were all super psyched to be in on it with me. And so when I got to play it for her and our family at the rehearsal dinner, it was a really special moment. It's a song that I didn't know if I should put music out now. I was going to put music out in like April, and then of course all that changed. And then I was just going to hold on to the album until this was over, but that felt weird too. And the response that I got was people really need something to pay attention to. They need something positive. They need a distraction.
Positive, yeah, distraction, 100%. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, so the response to the song has been really, really great, and it's a really special song to me. It's become a special song to other people, and that's all you can really ask for,
It's going to be fun when you guys are celebrating your 50-year anniversary and you break out the song. To hear the difference from a few, almost a couple of weeks ago to 50 years from now, how the song still holds meaning. So
100%.
Something to look forward to in 50 years. So let's
I hope she's not sick of me by then.
let's put it in our phones now. 50 years, we'll check in like a time capsule. All right, Jesse, Ruben, thank you so much. And follow along everything with the Dunkin Latte Lounge hashtag Dunkin Latte Lounge. Jesse, we thank you very much. And now you leave us with Future.
So yeah, this is a new song. This is called Future. You're soft and sweet like rose petals. You help me believe like gold medals. Remind me to breathe when the dust settles. You keep the tides level, and mostly you're soft and sweet like rose petals. You're tall and strong like a skyscraper, and the gift that comes in the nice paper. When I can't go on, you're my lifesaver. You make me feel braver, and mostly you're tall and strong like a skyscraper. As soon as we met, I knew you were my future. As soon as we met, I knew, I knew, I knew. As soon as we met, I knew you were my future. As soon as we met, I knew, I knew, I knew. I knew. You're soft and sweet like a love letter. You make me smile like warm weather. You comfort me like an old sweater. You make me feel better, and mostly you're soft and sweet like a love letter. As soon as we met, I knew you were my future. As soon as we met, I knew, I knew, I knew. As soon as we met, I knew you were my future. As soon as we met, I knew, I knew, I knew. As soon as we met, I knew you were my future. As soon as we met, I knew, I knew, I knew. As soon as we met, I knew you were my future. As soon as we met, I knew, I knew, I knew. I knew.
To see more videos like this, check out DunkinLatteLounge.com. And if you're posting on social, use the hashtag Dunkin Latte Lounge.